How are you?
A little crazy. I'm seeing things.
Honey, me too. I'm having the wildest mommy brain lately.
I don't think it's mommy brain.
I want to start with a really specific point, which is I love the line. Well, okay, so Lucy, something goes wrong. She goes online, and then later, Pierce Brosnan's doctor tells her there'll be no more Googling, which I think is such a brilliant line. First of all, I'm curious. I mean, are you like a WebMD user? Is that your go-to when? No.
I don't look at comments. I will not WebMD. I will text my healthcare provider best friends, which I'm lucky to have 2 of them. No comments, no WebMD.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too scary. It's such a rabbit hole. It's addictive. It's like the grossest form of addiction. Diagnosing yourself.
Yeah.
Designed to make you think of it like you're in Atlantic City, gambling. It's awful.
Are you the type of person that's like, something's wrong, I'm gonna figure out what's happening myself?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I usually, by the time I get to my doctors, I've usually diagnosed what's wrong with me.
Yes.
I'm telling them, I'm just going to them for a second opinion, but I already know what's wrong. I am so WebMD person. My dad is a doctor. My sister's a doctor. My husband's dad was a doctor. I mean, I'm just so right. I think I'm an amateur doctor and I am obsessed with WebMD. Absolutely. I Google everything.
That's funny. And I mean, right, with your family, it's like you can just call or text them at any time and be like, what's this mean?
I always say to people, I don't think I'm ever going to die because I have an uncle for any ailment that may befall me. I just have an uncle I can call and say, okay, my left eye is twitching. What does it mean?
Yeah.
Because you're an eye doctor.
I'm very aware that WebMD is like one of those
Yes.
infographics that always leads you to cancer. And I'm not putting
That's
that.
so true.
That's where I actually will trust a doctor. But I will say what's been so cool
Mhm.
about this, and now even in prepping for the show that I have coming out, to dive so deep into this world of fertility, and then for my show to dive so deep into the world of cardiovascular surgery, heart health, all of these issues. What I've been learning about the medical system is at times very inspiring and at other times very appalling, which is kind of how I feel about being a human.
Yeah,
The world is
sure.
inspiring and full of magic and full of good people, and there's like a horror movie waiting everywhere. So that was sort of our way into this, and I suppose that's why it's effectual, because the more specific, the more universal. And so I don't try to figure out how I might be feeling, on the Google machine, but I do really encourage research.
But of course, the deeper reading of that line kind of taps into some of the themes of this, where it's like, okay, of course he doesn't want her online because knowledge is power. He's trying to insert his control wherever he can. I'm curious if you could talk a little bit about that side of the film. It's one of the many things, like mommy brain, that gets thrown out a bunch, that we're learning how Lucy is getting the control just sapped out of her at all times.
Yeah, it was funny. Okay, so I'm 34 weeks pregnant currently.
Congrats.
And thank you. And I have to say, mommy brain is kicking in, where I'm like, I really am slowing down and my capacity is thinning, as are parts of my body, and then others are widening. But for most of my pregnancy, I was like, I'm a fucking genius. What?
Yeah.
I was like, mommy brain, I'm on my shit right now. I'm on top of the game. It's like, I was like super sharp. I think for the first time in my life, I'm finally having limits around, comedians want to please everybody, and artists want approval. Artists want approval, right? And there's this struggle of like capping that and being like, well, what do you want to make, type of thing. So I think my mommy brain has been super sharp because I've been having to actually have a container around what I give to others, knowing what I believe is the right answer here, and just being like, bam, 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 Yeah. So I find like these concepts that we have around the, weakness of the female body, the weakness that a pregnant person is enduring, to be false, but not completely false, just like thought of as wrong and thought of as binary. It is really intense. Pregnant people should be supported from the middle of the second trimester on. There should be, we have no mat leave. You know what I mean? It's sickening. And it's like, it's not that I have been so like tender and sensitive and have needed softness, but it's not a substitute. It doesn't exclude strength.
The moment you point out about Pierce saying no more Googling, I think about it in the same way. There's a moment between Corrigan and Lucy where she looks at me and is explaining how she's feeling about something. And why I call Corrigan an agent of the patriarchy is because her immediate response to another professional woman is, well, what does your husband think? And I was like, oof. So the husband who's not pregnant, his opinion means more to this pregnant lady about this other pregnant lady's experience. But we've been cultured to say, well, what did the doctor say? Well, you know, you're obviously very emotional. What does your husband say? And it's like, maybe I'm just tapped in.
The mommy brain thing that keeps getting thrown out there. Like, it's just.
It's like a dagger in my heart. It makes me want to
they're weapons.
Every time I hear it.
I feel like so many of our very best thrillers, horror movies, especially of the past decade or so, do have this really strong thematic undercurrent, these social themes that are at play here. And I'm curious, like, why do you think that horror has become such an ideal vessel for cultural commentary? What makes horror the best way to tell these stories?
Well, Cameron, we live in horrifying times.
That's true.
We live in horrifying times, especially the last year. It's been one shit show. It's like, what? And but also I think it's just human nature. You get to really go there when you tell stories, and you don't shy away from the horror of reality. You know, the horror of reality. When you don't shy away from that, you have so much more leeway to build such bigger stories. I mean, like, for instance, one of my favorite films in recent years was Midsummer. And I literally could not look away. I just thought, oh, there's so many issues happening here. The whole of the women, it's fertility again, right?
Yeah.
Women's fertility again. It's like the goddess theme, still the woman, the births a nation or births, you know, and you know, what would how far would she go to achieve that goal if that's what she wants to do? And I don't know why. I actually, to be honest, don't know why it's such a thing in our recent cultural moment. But you know, I guess things go in cycles, and it's maybe time for us to really examine the reality of life. And sometimes things are kind of horrifying.
Hey, this pregnancy shit is no joke, right?
Okay, it's really scary.
Brilliant.